Near Pokrovsk, modern warfare unfolds silently, without the roar of heavy artillery, yet deadly in its precision. FPV drone operators from the 425th Separate Assault Regiment show high-quality footage documenting a systematic hunt for Russian military personnel in a war-torn residential area. The footage opens from the perspective of a low-flying FPV camera scanning narrow streets and destroyed courtyards. Below, 3 Russian personnel are seen scattered, trying to avoid observation. They sprint, stop, and then move again, clearly aware that the small sky above them is no longer safe. In the hunt, it was seen that one target is captured on camera attempting to cross an open area between buildings. The FPV drone immediately drops altitude and follows closely behind at high speed. Sharp maneuvers are made to avoid walls and debris, demonstrating the operator's complete control over the long-range area. The target's attempts to accelerate were insufficient. The FPV closed the distance in seconds and struck with precision. The next attack followed a similar pattern, but in a different location. Another target attempted to hide behind a corridor, exploiting angles and shadows. The FPV circled, scouted from the other side, and then swooped down on them, the explosion clearly visible on the surveillance drone's camera. In several segments, the surviving targets were seen shifting positions and rapidly shifting, as if hoping to distract the operators. But the FPV remained superior. With their wide field of vision and instant response, the 425th Regiment operators locked onto targets one by one, ensuring there was no escape in the complex residential environment. This footage highlights the changing nature of combat on the front lines. Buildings that once served as cover were now traps, while the FPV's speed and precision determined the outcome. In Pokrovsk, superiority lay not in numbers, but in who saw first and moved first. In modern warfare, especially in residential areas, there are no long firefights, no close quarters engagements. All that was apparent was complete aerial dominance. The FPV acts as the hunter, while the ground target can only react, not control the situation. This operation near Pokrovsk is a clear demonstration of how the 425th Separate Assault Regiment is leveraging FPV drone technology to control residential areas. In a war now defined by sensors, speed, and precision, anyone detected will be pursued to the finish. In the low skies over Pokrovsk, the message is clear. Moving fast is not enough, because FPV is always faster. At the same time, Volodymyr Zelensky's army destroyed a battalion of Russian Marines as they attempted to breach Ukrainian defensive lines near Pokrovsk. Ukraine has moved many of its troops out of besieged Donetsk city and repositioned them near the villages of Zatishok and Razin. There, they have built new defensive positions on mostly open terrain, which offers no cover for the advancing Russians. With no urban ruins to shelter in, the Russians' only protection is bad weather and makeshift anti-drone armor. However, Ukrainian bomber drones are increasingly being equipped with thermal cameras, enabling them to detect the heat of a person or vehicle through fog. Russian troops must not only cross open fields, but also cross the Kazhenyi Torets River to reach the new Ukrainian positions. This makes them even more vulnerable to drone and artillery attacks, which have inflicted massive casualties on Putin's forces. Over the past few days alone, Kyiv's army claims to have killed and injured more than 1,000 Russian troops per day in the sector. In one of the latest incidents, commanders from Russia's 40th Naval Infantry Brigade sent 4 armored columns towards Razin. At the same time, they were quickly detected by reconnaissance units before being hit by a barrage of drones and artillery fire, which included HIMARS precision-guided rockets. The damage was inflicted by the National Guard of Ukraine's Azov 1st Corps, as well as by elements of the SBS drone unit. Final figures released by the Azov press office indicate Ukrainian forces destroyed 6 tanks, 9 infantry fighting vehicles, 5 armored personnel carriers, APCs, and 1 armored recovery vehicle, ARV. However, the military analyst Moklasin believes the total figure of armored vehicles destroyed is closer to 30. The elimination of enemy personnel involved in the assault is ongoing, the press service of the Azov Corps said at the time. We thank all units defending the sector of the 1st NGU Corps, particularly the fighters of the NGU's Special Operations Detachment, LASARS Group, and the SBS drone units for their decisive contribution to repelling the mass attack. Analysts have for many months urged Ukraine's army to shift their defensive focus from towns to fields, thereby depriving Russian soldiers of cover. Meanwhile, the Russians claimed they had seized the city in November during a visit by Putin to a military command post. Ukraine's army has carried out a successful counterattack in Kupansk and is on the verge of clearing the city of all Russian troops, according to the latest reports. Kupansk is situated in Ukraine's Kharkiv region and is an important rail and road hub, acting as a vital logistics center and gateway to northeastern Ukraine. Its capture would significantly disrupt Ukrainian supply lines and serve as a major propaganda coup for Vladimir Putin's army. The Russians claimed they had seized the city in November during a visit by Putin to a military command post. At the time, the Army's Chief of Staff, Valery Gerasimov, told the Russian president, "Units of the West grouping have liberated the city of Kupansk and are continuing to destroy Ukrainian armed forces units surrounded on the left bank of the Oskol River." The claims were dismissed by Ukraine, whose forces have since launched a major counterattack to drive out Russian units from the city. Zelensky's troops have now succeeded in encircling the city and cutting off Russian soldiers from the main body of their army. Ukrainian soldiers are reported to have quickly cleared the northwestern outskirts and are moving towards the center, where the remaining Russians have retreated. In a post to its Telegram channel, Deep State, a non-governmental and volunteer-led Ukrainian organization that maps the war, wrote, "As a result of a successful operation by the defense forces, the enemy was blocked in Kupiansk, and the entire northwestern outskirts of the city were cleared." The operation began with the creation of a blocking line and the cutting off of the enemy garrison in the city from the main forces. The defense forces relatively quickly occupied Radkivka and Kindrashivka, and also took Golubivka under fire control. The defense forces continue to identify and destroy scum in the central part of the city, where the Russians have several enclaves where they